Hey guys, it's Robin, and I'm back. I know you guys have probably been wondering, Robin, where have you been? It's been over a year since your last video, and you might be wondering, are you that AAA game developer you set out to be just a little bit over a year ago? And the answer is no. No. About a month before my last video, my wife told me she was pregnant. And from there, it's just been a roller coaster. It's our first baby, and we had to learn this kind of whole process. And it took a lot of time. There's all the getting ready for the baby, all the meetings with the doctors, amongst other things. And it just took a lot of my time. And I was very hard to balance both learning game development and learning YouTube and editing videos. So if you're wondering, well, what have you been up to? Well, I've still been developing my game for a while. So ever since I kind of stopped making videos, I decided that I would put the AAA goal away and instead work directly on one of my own games. So that's what I've been doing for the past year. And I wanted to make this video just because somehow a lot of people are still commenting on my videos, asking for updates. It's been over a year since my last video, and people still seem kind of interested to see my progress and what's been going on. So I'm going to have a time lapse of me working on my game. There's a lot of coding in it, so it's a lot of text editor stuff. But I'm going to kind of just talk about my whole last year, what I've learned, which has been a lot, and kind of go in a little bit more into why I stopped making videos and why I haven't really been updating. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. There's kind of a lot of stuff that I learned that I wanted to share. And if you're not interested with that, then that's okay too. It might not be that interesting. So thank you guys. Thank you for being patient and waiting for this video. And I hope you enjoy. So let's get into it. So I thought that I would first get started just explaining where I've been and why I haven't posted and kind of why my goals changed. Initially, I really just wanted to start making games, and I know that I was so early in my learning phase that, maybe that wasn't the best idea. But I had spent about 3 months working hard, doing tutorials and all those types of things, and I started to get kind of frustrated at the pace that I was going at. I felt no closer to being able to do anything on my own. And once we found out that my wife was pregnant and I would lose even more time, I thought, if I have to do this tutorial and it takes me 3 months to do it, or even 4 months to do it, like I might get burnt out just from this tutorial and never really being able to kind of think on my own and make something of my own. And there could be a whole video just about tutorials and all the mistakes I made and getting kind of stuck in tutorial hell, as they call it. But I decided that if I was going to learn game development and become a game developer like I wanted to, that the best way to do it would be come up with a game and try to make it. And so I put the YouTube, I put the tutorials, I put the learning linear algebra, I put all of that aside. And I have to say it was probably the best decision that I made. And the reason it was so hard for me was you're trying to make a game as you're learning to make games, and then you're also trying to make videos for YouTube as you're learning to make videos for YouTube. And so if I have 4 hours at the end of the day to get some work done, maybe an hour is just watching the tutorials, and then another hour is actually doing the development, and then another hour is recording the videos and editing the videos and then posting the videos, and then even 2 hours for that because I have no idea how the video editing software works. And so I decided that because I'm not trying to be a YouTuber, And I really just want to make games that I would just put all that away and kind of crunch on just learning game development. And I had a talk with my wife about it, and I said it was more just me ranting to her. And I pretty much just said, why am I even doing these tutorials?
Welcome to
Rivendell. I kind of got the gist of it, which anybody can get the gist of Unreal after about a month or 2 months of working, maybe through a couple tutorials. And I just felt like the best way to actually learn the material and be able to utilize it for myself would be to just create my own game. And so that's what I did. I came up with a game idea. I consider it like a wave-based third-person shooter. Think of it like Valheim or V Rising, but you just fight waves of monsters. And so that's what I've been working on. And ever since my last video, I've pretty much been working on that every single day. And I don't use tutorials, or I tried to limit them only when I need them. And that kind of opens up like a good opportunity right now to kind of talk about tutorials, which was something that I kind of wanted to get off my chest. So when you're starting to learn game development, or like when you're starting to learn anything really, like YouTube is such a great resource because there's so many tutorials. Now, the flaw with YouTube is all the tutorials are like really segmented. And so you might have one tutorial on character controllers or one tutorial on input, and so you're like, God, I wish there was something a little bit more structured that can kind of take me from like A to Z. And so then you do the next thing that everybody does, and you look up like courses. And so you go to Udemy or you go to Skillshare, and you're looking up all these courses, and you find a course for, I don't know, $15 on Udemy, and the course says like 80 hours of content, and it has like 30,000 reviews. And you know those courses on Udemy. I mean, everyone's taking the same ones. And so you go and you start to do that course, and you see, they tell you like, oh, we have a community, we have a Discord, we answer your questions, like it's more than just a course. So I started doing like all those courses, man. I bought so many of them. I probably spent over $100 like on 10 different courses, and I've never finished a single one because by hour 40 and you're only like 20% done, you're already exhausted. So you're doing those courses, and then you kind of get stuck on something that you don't theoretically understand. You don't understand how enhanced input works, or you don't understand how the retargeting actually works. And so you kind of just bite your tongue, you do it, you copy paste it, and then you move on. And then you get later into the course, and you get stuck on something, and then you start to ask questions, and people don't respond, and then you go into the Discord and people are not responding, and like maybe a mod responds here or there, or a question gets answered here or there. And so you don't really learn anything, and then you try to go and recreate it on your own, and you're like, dude, I have no idea how to do this. And so that was like a really big problem that I had with the courses that I was taking. And, if you're just getting into Unreal or just into programming, and you're like, man, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, yeah, you can take one of those courses. Take one of those courses and try and do as much as you can of it, just to familiarize yourself with that. But after about like 3 months, or 2 months of tutorials, or 3 months, you should really kind of move on and just try to make your own game. That's where like the real learning is going to happen, when you try to make the enhanced input system on your own, or when you try to kind of solve like a pathfinding thing on your own. That's where you're going to actually learn the material. And as you kind of saw a little bit earlier in this video, like ChatGPT has been so valuable for helping me understand parts of Unreal that I haven't been able to understand before. Not because they can, write the code snippets and stuff like that. You should never really trust the code snippets, but giving you kind of a really good starting point and explanation to how the systems in Unreal Engine work. Like in this like video, you're watching me kind of build like the save and loading system to like save a game. And before I had never even read about the saving and loading of a game and how you do it in Unreal. And I went and like I read the docs on Unreal's website, and they're like a 4 out of 10 at best. Like, it's really hard to get started even with what they have. But if you just ask ChatGPT, like, hey, how does the save system work? You know, where do I call save? Where do I call load? Like, what's like the standard? It will give you like a really good explanation on how to get started. And then from that, you kind of figure out the code as you go and keep asking it questions like, where should I call, you know, this function? Why should I call it from this area? You know, here you can see like from the widget, you know, how can I get the game mode? Like, you might ask that question in a Discord for a tutorial, and it's a quick, easy question, but it might stump you for weeks if you weren't to use, you know, if you were to try and like look that up. But if you ask ChatGPT, it gives it to you in 10 seconds, you know, and it doesn't maybe not tell you exactly how to call it, but it gets you like most of the way there, which is outstanding. So when I stopped taking the tutorials, I was kind of like, I'm done with this. I was getting stuck in like what they call tutorial hell, and getting out of it has been the best thing ever. Everything that you're seeing here, I built it on my own, you know, with no tutorials, just simply talking with ChatGPT, asking it like, how do build systems typically work? You know, how do I make like the material for, you know, before a building component gets placed? Like, what's typical? What do they do in like AAA games? And having that conversation, even with like an AI, has been so helpful, because a lot of, you know, the community, the game dev community, like, I don't want to say it's toxic, but there's really not that much support in the industry, or from what I've seen. There's a lot of kind of like faux support, you know, like, we can all do it together, you know, join my community and, you know, make 100K, like, you know, those things. And I just find that it's not true, or it's not so true. So if anything you take out of this video, I know this is kind of a rant on tutorials that I've just been keeping like bottled up for a while, but if you can take anything from this video, it's get into Unreal, do a tutorial or two, and then go try and make your own thing. That you're gonna learn way faster. Get kind of past that imposter syndrome that you're probably having, and make a game. Like, every time someone makes their first game, they have no idea what they're doing. So don't feel like you need to know exactly how a character controller or how inputs work before you start to make it on your own. We live in like this crazy age right now where using YouTube or Google to find information is like becoming outdated. Like, ChatGPT has been insane, you know, with like, and you can get pure like good results off of it. And I just want to give kind of like an asterisk on that. Do not ask ChatGPT to code your game. That's really not, that is what it's bad at. That's not good, because the context, the structure of your game, all those things, it does not understand those things. Even GitHub's Copilot does not understand the context and like how you want to organize your game. Use it to kind of understand and fill in the gaps of Unreal Engine that their docs don't cover, because their docs are not even really docs in my opinion. You know, like, it's hard to even find a function on their website. Like, if you're trying to like, you know, find some kind of vague function or something. Like, it's so hard to find. But that's what I've been pretty much doing for the past year. I've been coding every single day, been working on my Blender skills, trying to really do the whole process of like making models, rigging them, getting them into the game engine, animating with them, and then, driving everything with, like C++ and blueprints. So that's what I've been up to for a year. My plans kind of going forward is I'm 100% on this game right now. What you saw is it's pretty much, it probably won't even look like that. Like I said, I'm still kind of in my learning phase. As I'm building it, I'm like learning about the systems, just like this save and load system. And I think that once I kind of build out all the main features, is that I'll probably rewrite the whole game, just because I realized as I'm going through it, like the structure is not good, and I kind of want to make it like nicer from like a technical perspective, from like a coding perspective. And those are all things that I kind of just learned over time working on my own game. Those are not things that you'll be able to learn taking tutorials. So in short, I've been gone because time. I hope to make more videos and stop taking tutorials. Just start working on your own game. Do one tutorial and then move on to your first game. Anyways, thank you guys so much if you stayed all the way here to the end, and good luck. See ya.